Hello everybody and welcome into today's video. Today I am so excited because we're doing another valley tour of sorts, but instead of being outside around the valley looking at all of my decorated biomes, we're going to be looking at every premium shop house that's currently available in the game. So currently there are 10 premium shop bundles for houses that you can buy, with a total of 11 houses that you can place in your valley, and I have all of them placed in my valley right now, fully decorated on the outside and fully decorated on the interiors. It's been quite the journey to get here, but I'm so excited to show it to all of you before we get the update and have even more premium shop houses added that I need to find a place for and a way to decorate. This is going to be a bit of a long video, so definitely grab a snack, grab a beverage, maybe grab a cozy blanket if it's getting to winter where you are right now like it is for me, and settle in as we take a tour around the premium shop houses in my valley. So we're going to be touring these houses by biome, and starting in the plaza, we have Mike and Sulley's apartment, which is the house style from Monsters, Inc. I have it located in this plaza area inspired by Main Street USA in Walt Disney World. So we just have a little bit of a city square and not too much going on around it, but it still fits in really nicely in the plaza, and I think it looks so cute. I decorated this building kind of like a dorm. That's what I was picturing in my head. So entering in, we have our lobby that's got a little bit of an industrial vibe to it. We have a little computer bar here where people can sit and do some studying. I love to have memory frames in every room, so you'll see I have the memory frame with the picture of Sulley and the crew from Monsters, Inc. Most of the ones in this house, if not all of them, are from Monsters, Inc. We have a little sitting area with this couch from Inside Out and these memory frame displays that are also from Inside Out. And a little sitting area here with this aquarium that I absolutely love. This aquarium is one of my favorite items in the game currently. And then a little book corner where people can plop down, do a bit of studying if it's not too loud, or just read a bit in between whatever they're doing. This is actually one of the first rooms I decorated in any of the premium shop houses, and to this day it's still one of my favorites. I really love it. So moving on into the next room, this is our dorm room inspired room. So again, plenty of books and bookshelves because if you're a student, that makes a lot of sense. A little coat hanger. We have an area that's like a dressing area, but I put outfits that reminded me of the season because this is right in the plaza. So we have some fall inspired outfits, of course a Monsters Inc. inspired outfit, and the turning red onesie because I think it's adorable and it kind of suits the sort of Pixar vibe. And then we have a couple of the Monsters Inc. beds, a little desk in the shared space, a divider for a bit of privacy, and each bed has one of the sets of lockers available for it. I also have a painting table and an easel. In a lot of the premium shop houses, I like to put a crafting table so I can go someplace easily to make whatever I need if I'm doing some decorating or doing some questing, and the painting table kind of fit. I imagine maybe if there was a student living here, maybe they're really interested in art, and that's just a little spot where they do their thing, they do their painting. Also right by the outfits, we have this B&L weather panel, so I figured everyone would wake up, check what the weather is going to be like, pick what they're going to wear for the day, and then keep it moving. Then moving into our next room, this one is inspired by a food court or cafeteria. It a little bit reminds me in some ways of the one that I had when I went to university. So we have some circular tables with some mismatched chairs, a cute little coffee cart sitting area over here. We have this little food court stand, some popcorn, this meal in a cup dispenser that looks like a little station you would walk around and grab some different items to put on your plate, and a little coffee bar station. This flooring I feel like is peak food court or cafeteria flooring, and I was really happy when I got it. Some of the colors in this room still don't match as well as I would have liked them to, but all in all, even though it's not the prettiest room, I think it fits the vibe that I was going for. And the last room we have in this house is the library. I have a library in almost every single one of my premium shop houses. This one is the cozy, dark, academic inspired library with these Dark Monsters Inc. bookshelves, as well as these frozen ceiling height bookshelves. We have a couple of desks where students could come by and study. We have some chests for my storage, and this room is really a bit of a tight squeeze, but I really wanted it to have a super cluttered and cozy feel. So we can walk around this way. There's a seating chair, a cozy fireplace. This is one of my favorite couches. It just looks so comfy and realistic, I think. Another little chair with a coffee station and lots of book clutter around. So that is my Mike and Sulley's apartment building. Next, we're going to take a look in the peaceful meadow, and the premium shop house that I have here is the Mushroom Manor. I have it in this section of the meadow overlooking the glade, which I think is a perfect spot for it. It's kind of set apart by itself. I have lots of critter houses that I sort of tried to hide to make it seem like this area was kind of overflowing with wildlife. We got some raccoons, some birds, some squirrels and bunnies all roaming around. There's a little fire pit over here with some chairs, a cute bicycle, and those marigolds in the basket. There's a bench here with a little reading spot. And then I gave them a garden with one of the veggie stalls. It seemed to suit the vibe pretty well, and I think this house looks really cute here. It's one of my favorite premium shop houses, I think. So moving inside, I wanted to keep this very different from the purple cottage, which we'll see later, but the purple cottage I have a little bit darker, a little bit more woodsy, I think. And this cottage or Mushroom Manor, I wanted to have very bright and colorful. I wanted it to feel very whimsical, very eccentric, kind of witchy still. So I really played off of the colors of this fireplace here, the blues, oranges, and purples from this mushroomy fireplace. So we have some colorful chairs and couches, lots of clutter. I love this coffee table from the Wally collection. I brought lots of plant life into this build, so we have an area over here where I imagine that I or whoever lives here spend some time potting their plants. Another little comfy couch seating area, and a little bit of a mysterious witchy bookshelf back here. We were decorating this on stream. I do a lot of my decorating on stream here on YouTube, and someone said that this reminded them of a yard sale or like somebody's basement where they put all of their things that they don't use and it's all mismatched. And I wasn't really thinking that when I was decorating it, but I actually now feel like this captures that vibe pretty perfectly, which I actually love. The first room off of this main room is our greenhouse room. So I used lots of these super tall Beauty and the Beast windows, lots of the hanging vines from the Lion King collection, and cluttered the area completely with flowers, plants, plant boxes. I just wanted it to feel extremely floral, extremely bright and alive. And then we have this section back here separated off by trellises where we have a little chair to sit down and again a painting table. I imagine the view outside of this window would probably be really pretty since there's lots of greenery and wildlife around here, so maybe they would stand out and paint whatever was around. And I think this room came out really well. Again, a super messy vibe that is kind of the way that I decorate in general sometimes, but I feel like it really suited the personality that we were going for with this home. I also love this cherry blossom tree from the Turning Red collection that's got the falling petals or leaves. So gorgeous. Our next room is going to be our bedroom. And again, I wanted to play off of the same colors, so lots of greens, purples, blues, threw some pinks in there. We have a bed back here. Even though this is technically a bedroom, I imagine the fairy version of me that lives here or whoever lives in this building they don't keep things very neat or tidy or where they're supposed to be. So even though this room is supposed to be a bedroom, they've got a desk in here where they do their reading. They've got more plants overflowing where they do some potting of their plants. They've got a little coffee cart, a little seating area here where they can relax and chat or read. And then over here we have our wardrobe section with this wardrobe that I believe was from one of the Tangled collections in the premium shop, and this beautiful green one from the Encanto collection, and a couple of outfits that feel like they would suit whoever would live here. Moving on to our last room in this house, we have this house's equivalent of a library, which is really more of a botanical sort of garden witchy haven. So we have this beautiful, very busy wallpaper with the greenery. We have lots of pumpkin lamps around here, lots of browns with tables. We have the potion shelves, a little seating area here with books that contain things about plants, probably the vine walls on the back wall. We also have a small little sitting area over here with our memory frame, and hidden behind this divider we have more of the sort of witchy things, a shelf of various potions and concoctions, and another one that's kind of a repeat of the one we have in the other spot. Next up, we are heading to the beach, and we are going to check out the beach house. I have this one sort of near Skull Rock, halfway in the water, surrounded by plenty of reeds and rocks, a cute little picnic blanket over here, and a little sitting area in front of it. I also played off of the surfboards that we have on the side dock, and I added a few surfboards in front of the house as well. I definitely kept the interior pretty beachy slash pool slash underwater themed. So this main room here, I imagined like a indoor outdoor space. A lot of beach houses will have a sort of patio or a deck that is somewhat screened in, but it's where all of the sand tends to collect when you come inside. And it has a blend of indoor and outdoor furniture, and it's just kind of a transitionary area. So that's what we did with this space. Lots of windows to keep it feeling really open. Just a small seating area with an old TV, a corner collection of plants, random items that might be brought to and from the beach. These cute little couches that are from the Tangled collection, but I feel like they look pretty tropical, and I really like the color with this radio here. It feels very beachy. And then these banners from the Wally collection, just showing the palm trees, some surfboards, and then this B&L weather forecast banner again, where you can check what the weather is like, what the water conditions are like, grab your surfboard, and head out. The next room in this house is our indoor pool moment. I made this pool and I had no idea what to do with it because there was nowhere I wanted to put it outside in the valley. So I decided to make an indoor pool space, and I feel like it really came together. I can practically smell like the chemicals that are used in the pools to keep it clean. And we have these couches from the Buzz RV set that was in the premium shop. This Toy Story table. These windows felt really nice because they're not looking too much into the outside, but they add some nice touches to the wall. Those are plasticky looking chairs in the back. And then this area where I imagine there are lots of towels, and we have a Pixar ball that feels like a pool ball or a beach ball, and people could set down their robes or their towels as they get into the pool and then pick them up as they get out again. This room feels very serene and peaceful to me. It might just be the nostalgia from all of the indoor pools that I went to when I was a kid, but something about it really, really feels right to me. Moving on, we have a bedroom next, and this bedroom is inspired by Lilo's bedroom in the Lilo and Stitch. So we have our beautiful mannequin here wearing a Touch of Magic dress inspired by Lilo, the Lilo and Stitch couch with a TV on a little table here, a cute bed with the Ugly Duckling book, and of course this town model like Stitch made in the movie. And then a little table where I feel like Lilo would collect some trinkets, some plants, set them down, a little bookshelf, and a wagon with not carrot cake, with coconut cake and coffee, which are Stitch's favorite, in the wagon. So it's all set and ready to go to bring outside on whatever beach adventures they get up to. And then the last room in this build, I had a really difficult time deciding what to do here. And I don't honestly even remember how I came up with this idea, but I think it was probably based on the Tamatoa memory that I got. And it somehow morphed into an underwater inspired music venue. So we have this wallpaper that looks like we're underwater. It's very dark and purple and fun. I believe this is supposed to be a cork flooring, but it kind of reminded me of sand. I brought in a lot of the plant and shell inspired decor from the Little Mermaid and Moana collections to really sell that feel of like a bioluminescent underwater arena. And then some beach chairs to sit down and watch whoever's performing at the mic with the amp, and they've got a guitar, so they're all set and ready to go. The beach house isn't the only premium shop house that I have on the beach. I also have Prince Eric's ship. It's right off the dock here on the beach, next to the sort of beach lounging area that I have here, and also this sort of market area that I have set up with some coconut drinks, some ice cream stands, and Goofy's stall. This build is inspired by The Little Mermaid for the most part. There's one room that's a little bit of a stretch, but still. The main area we come into is very nautical. I imagine this is sort of Prince Eric's main hangout where he comes and he can sit down on all of his nautical boating inspired furniture, drops off crates and various things that he finds, and like this boat. He's got a statue in here, so that's pretty cool. And this aquarium, a little tiny mini library section, of course, because I've got to include the books, and some chairs for a seating area that also has this ship coffee table and a little TV. And then the first room off to the right is our room inspired by Ariel. So I used a combination of wallpaper that I felt like seemed like something you would find in a ship, and also a mural wall on the back that has that under the sea sort of feel to it, with a lot of furniture from the Little Mermaid collection, including this gorgeous bed, the gorgeous dresser. We have a dressing area or like a vanity area here with some extra seating in case she had people over hanging out while she's getting ready. Some mannequins with outfits that I felt were based off of or inspired by Ariel, just a variety of outfits. And of course, we had to have her crafting table, which is currently going through that window, but that's okay. We always have a crafting table in every biome, and I try to put one in every premium shop house, and we couldn't have her have a room without that in there. Of course, she also needed Eric's statue because we know that she loves that. It's a somewhat simple room, but I feel like it would be a nice place for her to stay on the boat. On the opposite side, we have our room inspired by Ursula. We use the same wallpaper from the underwater music area in the beach house, but we've given it a bit of a darker aesthetic with some of the magic mirrors, with mannequins with the outfits from the Ursula Dream Bundle quests in front. Of course, Ursula needs her throne. We have a seating area with the purple lavish chairs, a potion area for her to do her magic. Ursula also has her own vanity and mirror, and we all know that Ursula has her human form Vanessa, but I put these mannequins here like maybe she's working on some other alternate forms that she plans to take to continue trying to trick various villagers into getting what she wants. So that's the storyline there. And finally, in our last room, I wanted to do something inspired by a pirate tavern. I started working on this originally when we had our Swashbuckle and Swagger dream snaps, even though I ended up not using it. But this scene is also a little bit, well, not even a little bit. It's also inspired by Mal and Uma and their face off from Descendants 2. So we have a mannequin here dressed as Mal, and we have one here inspired by Uma. We've got some potions and vials, some mismatched furniture, all about maps, treasure locations, treasure hoards, scrolls, a piano. I don't know, pianos feel kind of piratey to me, and other mannequins representing other characters, maybe in Uma's pirate band. Lots of gems, gold items scattered about that maybe they plundered a little bit. But I thought this was a really fun thing to have, and I liked setting up these mannequins as actual characters in the scene of this room, so to speak. And this was the first time I did something like that, and I ended up going with this kind of a style in some other rooms as well, having mannequins there not just as a sort of wardrobe component, but to kind of further the story of the room, and I really like that. It's something that I might continue to experiment with a little bit. Moving on from the beach, we go into the forest, and the only premium shop house that I have up here in the forest is the palace. I have it right off of the entrance from the plaza. We come into this area where there's a big courtyard with lots of celestial furniture items from leveling up our character. Of course, the carriage from Fairy Godmother. A couple offshoots of the courtyard that lead to these fireplaces. A nice view of our side yard with the Mickey statue. And this one leads back to the clock tower, which reminds me of the one from Cinderella, which is why I put it here by the palace. I think it's a really nice addition to this area. Don't mind Merlin and the Forgotten, they're just having a casual convo. And our main room here is inspired by Cinderella. The majority of this building is. I loved using the light pale blue furniture. I think it really feels regal, especially combined with the gold accents that we get from some of the Cinderella items and also some of the Beauty and the Beast items. So this main area is supposed to be a sort of lounge or like a small ballroom, I guess. We have the clock, again, referencing Cinderella, a nice white piano with some sitting, this beautiful, beautiful fireplace that I adore, and one of my favorite items in the game, this princess divider shelf that has items from every Disney princess, which is just absolutely gorgeous. It's so intricate. I could look at it forever. I used it multiple times in this palace because I love it so much. And over here we have this lounge. Unfortunately, with the last update, it changed the color from the pale blue to the darker blue, so I'm hoping it gets fixed in the next update and it goes back to being the beautiful pale blue of these other couches and chairs. I also decorated this room shortly after the Remembering update, I believe. I was so inspired by all of the Cinderella items, so I had to use this beautiful blue arch with the what look like bird cages in front of the door. I feel like it's a really nice way to frame the entrance of the house, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. The next room in this house is our sewing room, dressing room, sort of royal seamstress, if you will. So we have a nice seating area where people can wait to be fitted or sit and watch while somebody else is being fitted. Lots of fabric shelves, cupboards from the Cinderella collection, the sewing table, and another table with the machine and some books. We've got lots of mannequins in this room, all inspired by various Disney princesses, and they're wearing outfits that were the closest I could find to what they wear in their movies. But for all of these Disney princesses, I do actually have Touch of Magic dresses that I created. I just can't put them on the mannequins because the mannequins tend to break Touch of Magic dresses. I do also, again, have the painting table back here. The painting table is my go-to crafting table. I think it's gorgeous. I just kind of hid it back there because it didn't fit the theme of this room as well, but I still wanted to have it here for crafting while I'm out and about in the valley. The next room we have is our royal bedroom. Again, a pretty simple bedroom here, but we have the Cinderella bed with the archway over top again, a couple tables behind so I could set some flowers on top, a nice globe in the corner, a little seating area with some tea and a mirror. Again, I can't wait until this is the pale blue again. That was the vibe I was going for. A repeat of the princess divider shelf, a little harp, and a table with some cute blue accessories on it. I also brought some of the pumpkins into this room to continue to sort of reference Fairy Godmother and the Cinderella movie. And even though this is quite simple, I really wanted it that way. I struggle sometimes with making rooms that are simple because I feel like they look empty, but I feel like this makes it look more elegant. I think it would be harder to pull off a sort of regal look if there was a lot going on in this room, so I'm pretty happy with the way that it turned out. And then the final room in this building is our library. This is our royal library with the beautiful ceiling to floor shelves and the window seats from the Beauty and the Beast collection. We also have a mannequin here inspired by our early film Belle, who's also in this image above the fireplace. So beautiful paintings on the wall, books, tea, a nice couch that looks fancy but also comfy enough to sit in front of the fire and read some good books. Of course, the window seats, which are also some of my favorite items in game. A nice fancy looking desk and a candelabra, so you could also use this as a study to get some work done. And of course the floating candles from the Villain Star Path from October of last year. I think they just added a little bit extra magic to this room. Makes it feel a little bit more enchanted, which I really love. After the forest, we're going to move on into the glade, and the first house I have in the glade is the Haunted Mansion. From the entrance from the Peaceful Meadow, there's a long pathway here that leads up to the Haunted Mansion, lined with trees, overgrown, just kind of like the house is, but it sort of serves as a remnant of the grand sort of entrance that I imagine used to be in front of this house before it was abandoned for however long it was. We still have some flowers in the front though. And the yard for this house is my flower bed for the glade, so I keep all of my glade flowers here, so they're all in one spot. For the Haunted Mansion, I imagine this kind of like an old spooky mansion that's sort of recently been renovated to be a historic house for display. So the main entrance area is very clean, very bright, and it's like an art gallery where we have the enchanted rose. The memory frame serves as a picture of what I would imagine in my headcanon would be what this place looked like before it fell into disrepair. Lots of the artwork that I love in game. I have the little mini photos on the tables that are supposed to represent the little placards or display pieces that you have in front of art or sculptures that kind of explain what everything is. So I thought that was kind of a fun touch, especially since there's a glitch where they currently kind of sink into the table. It looks a little bit more like it's a built-in feature, and I really like the way that this turned out. Then off of this room, we have our library that I think would also have been renovated. Maybe it would have the original books, but it was updated to have a more lavish sort of aesthetic to it. So we have the whites and golds from the main room filtering through as well. Another desk with scrolls and books, a beautiful white piano, gorgeous arched windows, and the library section set back, separated off by the pillars with this beautiful fancy gold couch and some really nice looking pink chairs. This library actually was originally in my palace, or a library design that was very similar to it. But when we got the Beauty and the Beast update and we got those blue bookshelves and the window seat, I knew I wanted to put those in my royal princess inspired house, and I transplanted this library into the Haunted Mansion, and I think it fits the vibe very well. The next room we go into, we have to use our imagination a little bit. In my mind, this would be up several flights of stairs in this mansion, a room that's not been renovated, but it still is maybe where whoever owns the house now resides. It's still got some fancy touches, but the walls and the flooring is still the same that was originally used in the house. So we have some pretty nice furniture, a little sitting area off to the side, a vanity, a beautiful bed. We've got a couple of mannequins with some fancy looking outfits in the Enchanted Rose again, and another seating area over here with some tea. I love to come up with lore for the rooms that I make or the way that I decorate my valley. And with the Enchanted Rose, with this one, I imagine that this Enchanted Rose is a very pricey artifact or like a family heirloom, and the person who owns the house donated it to the historic foundation that is refurbishing the bottom levels and making it a museum. But the person actually kept the original heirloom for themselves, and they gave the historic organization a counterfeit version. So that's the one that's here, and they keep the real one in their room because they don't want to let go of it. And finally, moving into our last room, I had to do one inspired by the Haunted Mansion ride and movies from Disney. So that's what this room is. We have our beautiful Haunted Mansion organ. We have a sort of library, witchy, potion-y area here with a mannequin that's supposed to represent Madame Leota. We have a banquet table set up, very fancy. Some coffins because those are spooky, and the portraits from the stretching room. And we have mannequins here that are supposed to represent Gracie and Elizabeth. And this isn't really a wedding aisle, but I feel like it still had that sort of a vibe. So that's the story with this room. Again, the floating candles because super spooky. I used lots of the gold wall candelabras and also the desk candelabra, the large standing candelabra, because I felt like it looked very fancy. And I really love this room. This is another example of me using mannequins to sort of set the scene. I really liked that with this room. I feel like it helps pull the story together. The next house that we have in the glade is the Purple Cottage, which was one of the first premium shop houses that we got. And I have it here under this archway with a cute, very natural setup, including an outdoor lounge area with this gorgeous set of blankets and pillows. Also have a well beside the house, lots of flowers and natural plants and grasses, and this adorable water pump out here, which upon further consideration would make more sense facing the opposite direction near the bucket, but that's neither here nor there. And inside the Purple Cottage, I wanted to go for a very cabin-y, rustic sort of feel. So we've got this beautiful worn wallpaper with the wooden sort of structures and the stone bottom. I used the same fireplace here that I used in the Mushroom Manor, but I interpreted it in a little bit of a different way. We went with a lot more brown tones. We have a reading area, some comfy chairs, some checkers for people to play, and a bicycle. I feel like bicycles are very cottagey. Again, one of the more simple designs, but I felt like that made sense for this type of a home. Just something cozy enough with enough in it, but nothing too extravagant or over the top. And the next room is our bedroom that's totally Tangled inspired. So we have a repeat of this rug, blanket, pillow set with a beautiful painting on the wall. Our little wardrobe section over here with a dresser, a mirror, and some clothes inspired by Tangled or sort of cottagey aesthetics. I used the painted mural wall on a couple of the walls. My idea is that Rapunzel is working on painting the entire room. So far, she's got those two walls done, so she's moved the painting table over here to work on this wall, and eventually she'll get around to the last wall, but she just hasn't gotten there yet. I used this bed from Tangled and a little hygiene toiletry box, a cozy pink couch and some books, as well as the bear chair and the hanging tangled seat. I really like the way that this room came together. I think it's kind of quirky, just quirky enough. It still feels very homey and comfy and fitting for Rapunzel. The next room in this house is also one that's inspired by a tavern, but instead of a piratey tavern, we have a rustic, woodsy sort of tavern with a huge open kitchen, lots of counter space, a little TV so they can watch the cooking channel while they cook, the Ugly Duckling book that's supposed to be like a propped up recipe book, two ovens and stoves, a very dingy sink, some tables and chairs that are mismatched but just whatever they could pull together. The bear chair makes a reappearance, and the comfy leather sort of chairs in front of this furnace fireplace with a coffee cart, some mugs, and windows that technically would look out into the next room, but we can use our imagination and pretend it would look out at the beautiful scenery of the glade. I really love all of the brown tones in this home in general. I feel like it feels very warm, very grounded, very cozy, and I really enjoy that. And then the final room in this house is our library equivalent, although this one is also sort of a witchy potion room. Lots of shelves with scrolls, vials, books strewn all over the ground, pumpkin lamps, potion cupboards, a cauldron, just everything that an eclectic sort of glade witch would need. I felt again that I was trying to make sure that the purple cottage and the mushroom manor still looked and felt different, even though they had some similarities. And I really think I was able to pull that off pretty well. I like the darker tones of the purple cottage. I love all of these shelves with the mushrooms. They really feel like they fit into the glade very well. And I think this house turned out very nicely. So I don't have any premium shop homes in Sunlit Plateau right now, so the next biome on our tour is the Frosted Heights, and the first one we're going to be looking at is the Sweet House, which I have here over in my candy section of the Frosted Heights. Lots of peppermint trees, lots of ice cream, pinks and purples, and around the back of the house I have a little seating area with more ice cream, a sundae, a little radio, just a nice secluded backyard area. And this house is all inspired by Wreck-It Ralph for me. So the first room we come into is Yes's office from Ralph Breaks the Internet. So we have her fancy executive desk and these beautiful pink chairs. I have a mannequin representing my version of Yes, at least based on what we can do in Dreamlight Valley. We don't have her hair, although that would be fabulous. Some fancy waterfalls. Everything about Yes feels very bougie and professional to me. Some bamboo planters, a table with a light and an award, an in-office bar with some coffees and teas placed out, and some french fries, peak bar food, I think, and another little seating area where people can wait to be ushered to her desk if they need to speak with her about something. And of course, a portrait of Vanellope because it just goes so perfectly with this. The next room is our sweets room. So we have a dessert cafe, a bakery, if you will, not a dessert cafe. We have a bakery with some ice cream, a few little tables, another little coffee corner. I love making these coffee corners because they take up a pretty small amount of space, but they fill in the corners really nicely. We have a whole bar with lots of delicious desserts laid out, a couple ice cream stands for you to come by and grab some ice cream. We have the oven and the fridge in the background, the oven so I can cook in game and also just to add to the vibes. And over here we have another display table with a beautiful giant cake and some other sweet treats that all make me so incredibly hungry. This room is very bright and very pink and very not how I usually decorate, but I thought it was a bit of fun, so I'm really happy we decided to do this in this room. Next We have our arcade gaming room. I think this one turned out so well. I have the maximum number of mannequins in here, and they're all inspired by the sort of sweet aesthetic or Wreck-It Ralph. This one, which is what I'm wearing currently, with a Touch of Magic shirt and the items that we got from Vanellope from her quest line. We have one with Vanellope's sort of Sugar Rush type outfit. We got the toy alien machine here, a Ralph inspired mannequin playing on this gaming machine. We've got a little food court section back here. We have the Sugar Rush game with this mannequin wearing an outfit inspired by Shank from Ralph Breaks the Internet, who is an absolute icon. Some air hockey, a photo booth. We got some shelves with toys that I imagine are the prizes that you could win, and this little skee ball machine. And I love the wallpaper and the flooring. I feel like those really pulled this together and make it feel like it is some kind of arcade or like a gaming space. It almost reminds me of the small ones that you would find in malls ages ago, at least when I went to malls, I guess. And I really like it. I'm glad that it came together as well as it did. And this last room is our computer lounge slash study area. I think I was really channeling this memory from Ralph Breaks the Internet and the idea of Ralph Breaks the Internet all being about, obviously, the internet and being online. So I wanted to have an area that this was kind of inspired by the computer lab at my university. So we have just this big table set up with lots of computers. We have a little coffee bar and microwave section over here for people to get some coffee, stay energized, make a quick snack. A little mini library, maybe with just some resources that are commonly used with writing papers or things like that, and a little lounging seating area where I imagine people could do some group work or just sit very close to each other and not interact with each other whatsoever. That's also a possibility, but I think it came together very well, and I really like this. It was a little bit of an expansion upon the idea that I had in one section of the main room in Mike and Sulley's apartment, but I sort of elaborated on it and made it into an entire room instead of just a section of the room. The next house we have in the Frosted Heights is the Frosty Fortress, and I adore this house. The only issue I have with it is that you can only see it from very far away because it's so tall. So this is the optimal view of the Frosty Fortress, which still isn't bad, but as we get up closer to it, we just see rocks. I have just some trees around, some snowmen, a little log where people can have a seat if they want to sit out in the cold in front of the Frosty Fortress. That's pretty cute. And this little snow hut and snow person and this cloud, permafrost cloud raining snow, which I think is very adorable. This is a house mostly inspired by Frozen, but this main room is Christmas themed. I enjoy Christmas, but I mostly enjoy Christmas aesthetics. I don't know if anyone can relate to that. So holiday aside, the winter festive spirit, the red and green, the Christmas tree, I eat it up. So here we have my little Santa dress inspired outfit, some beautiful wintry windows, a little seating area where maybe people were exchanging gifts, some of these crafted festive chairs, lots of present piles, a warm fireplace with some seating, a gingerbread house, more presents, more beautiful windows, and just a place where I can go year round to get a little bit of that, that Christmas spirit feeling going through my veins, because I don't have an area in my valley that's always decorated for Christmas. I know a lot of people do that in their Frosted Heights, but that's something that I didn't really feel inspired to do. So I just have this room that's going to be that for me. The next room we have is one inspired by Anna. So we have this bright pink wallpaper. We have a mannequin representing Anna in this little dressing area with a mirror, some dressers, some toiletries, a robe hanging here. I also repeated the robe on the other side, like maybe one's a dressing robe, one's a nice warm cozy one to put over top of your pajamas when you're sleeping to stay warm. So we have the bed over here with a snow globe. I used the green windows that are looking out at a snowy landscape to bring some additional color in, a beautiful tapestry, a nice little sitting area with some music and a book, this beautiful clock, and I used this lounger and the furnace fireplace and one of the little snow plushies just for a nice cozy sitting area with a couple books. Just a nice place to relax in the room. And I think it came together pretty nicely. It's very bright. The wallpaper is very busy, but it's also kind of beautiful. So I enjoyed incorporating it into this room. Our next room is inspired by Elsa. So we have a nice frozen icy room with all of the ice furniture, and I really wanted to use these windows with the snowflakes in them. I was a little bit worried about how they were going to blend, but I brought in some more like dark wood furniture and I feel like it really came together and it looks so cute. I also used this fireplace from Elemental, which is gorgeous and beautiful. Love it, for a little seating area here. I wanted to have a fireplace in every room in this house. That was my goal because it's up in the Frosted Heights. It's probably really chilly and they deserve a nice fireplace moment. We've got the bed, lots of snow plushies, a nice coffee table with some hot cocoa, this grandfather clock. And over here we have Elsa, and this is her little magical station where she's taking these snowballs and animating them into the snow plushies, which in my imagination are little living are little living beings. So she's enchanting these snowballs and turning them into the snow plushies. I also have the Art Deco picture of Elsa because if I'm not going to use it in the room inspired by Elsa, where am I going to use it? So this is Elsa's room. And then the last room in the Frosty Fortress is our library. And this also has mannequins of Anna and Elsa. I imagine just browsing, spending some time together. I used these beautiful windows again. We have a nice fireplace moment with some chairs. I went for a different layout of the shelves. We went for more of an aisle look, and it really opened up some area for us to play with over here on the left. So I really actually enjoy that. It was a nice change. Making multiple libraries and having them all look different is actually quite the task. So this was a fun one to play around with. Got some plants, tables, books. Anna's browsing the shelves, and we have a beautiful portrait of Anna and Kristoff here in the memory frame. So I'm very happy with this library as well. And we are finally on to our final biome, which is the Forgotten Lands. And I have two premium shop houses here. The first is the before Christmas version of the Haunted Mansion. My Forgotten Lands is a little bit squishy, so it's tucked away back here, but the house pretty much speaks for itself. I didn't need to do too much decorating around it. I do have a beautiful Christmas tree here, some extra pumpkins, a spooky tree with some presents tucked beneath it, but that's pretty much it. And inside we have the main room inspired by The Nightmare Before Christmas. So we have a blend of all things festive and also spooky, a nice Christmas tree, the Well of Souls, some pictures from Haunted Mansion, jack-o'-lanterns, presents, potions, hot chocolate, and mannequins with outfits inspired by The Nightmare Before Christmas, and this sort of evil Santa look that I thought was a bit of fun. We have a coffin over here and Sally. I used some festive windows, and I also used some spooky windows to really get a combination of both of the vibes going. And overall, I think it worked pretty well. It's nice for an entry area, and the doors leading off of here bring us through some different seasons, some different holiday aesthetics. So we will start over here. And this room is our Thanksgiving slash harvest inspired room. So we've got lots of warm colors, lots of golden, orangey hues, some big windows looking out into the autumn landscape, I suppose, and a long table with some assorted chairs set up for a big harvest banquet. Again, with some fall decor with this archway, some pumpkins, some marigolds, some wreaths, some flowers, a little sitting area over here. Gotta have our little coffee corner. And I set out some food that I thought looked really delicious and or like it would be something that you would find around my home when we were having Thanksgiving or other harvest related banquets. And over here, I put a small table that's the kids' table. If you're like me, whenever you had big family holidays where everyone was getting together, there was always a kids' table where the children would sit. And also, if you're like me, you were stuck at the kids' table until you were like 20. So the kids' table has some more assorted seating with some kid-friendly munchies on there, mostly sweets because I feel like the kids would try to sneak those and mostly eat them instead of whatever the main meal was. But I thought this room was a bit of fun. I made it kind of leading up to November, which is kind of peak time for this, and I really enjoy this one. Our next room is an Easter slash springtime inspired room. So we've got lots of pinks, a nice green rug to sort of represent the fresh green grass of springtime, lots of flowers, these beautiful cherry blossom trees, and the windows that have the trees with the leaves and petals flying off of them. Lots of eggs. We have some egg baskets around, some eggs scattered on the ground like a little egg hunt, a couple tables with some bright pink chairs and some flowers, and a couple of stalls selling egg-related treats that we can cook up, which is a lot of fun, and this beautiful arch with this picture that I thought reminded me kind of an egg hunt where it'll have some locations, kind of giving hints of places around the valley to go look in search of the Easter eggs. So I think this one turned out pretty cute as well. Very simple. We have kind of a lot of egg items and like spring items, but also not a lot, if that makes any sense. So I did what I could. We've got the cute little egg chairs. And it's a nice bright room amidst a lot of the more darker or spookier vibes of this house. And then the last room in this house is our Halloween room. So we have our Nightmare Before Christmas room in the front, but this one is pure Halloween vibes, a bit of a darker look, lots of pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns. We've got the thorny pillars, some coffins, and evil magic mirrors, Maleficent's throne. And as the mannequins in this room, we have the Sanderson sisters. So we have Winifred. Mary's having a good time carving some pumpkins. Winifred's being a star and an icon like she is, and Sarah's pondering the potion cauldron. So this I felt like was a fun one. I wanted something that was just Halloween vibes since we do have a Christmas room in the Frosty Fortress. I wanted to kind of capture that here, and I wasn't sure the direction I wanted to go with, if I wanted to make it specifically Nightmare Before Christmas sort of Halloween town, but I went with a more generic Halloween villainous vibe, and I really like it. The addition of the Sanderson sisters, I think, really made it. I would really love to have the Sanderson sisters actually added to the game at some point. That would be iconic. And we are officially at our final house of the tour, so if you've been enjoying the video, please give it a like, subscribe for more Disney Dreamlight Valley content, and press the bell icon so you don't miss any of my future uploads or when I go live playing Disney Dreamlight Valley, which I do frequently. We do most of our decorating on live streams, and I'm so excited because the December 5th update and the A Rift in Time expansion is coming out next week, and we're definitely going to be streaming it on update day. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have an absolute blast together. But our final house is the Nightmare Castle. And I have that right here in the Forgotten Lands. It's right next to our well. I have it, again, kind of crowded in because my Forgotten Lands is a little bit squishy, but we have the ruins here, which we can't move, so I tried to integrate it into the build. I think it looks okay. And over here we have our side yard with a cauldron. We've got Zero hanging out in the yard next to his little Zero house, and the scary squirrel. I have them here by hiding that critter home, and it works pretty well. I like to see Zero pop out every now and then. So in the Nightmare Castle, I interpreted this as the Forgotten's home. So the main room is sort of a living area, just kind of an all-purpose room. We have the pillars in the center of the room, which I thought was an interesting way to use them. A miniature study area over here. Got a coat rack and maybe like a coat closet for you to hang up some outfits. A nice thorny fireplace with some seating. A piano. This memory of Merlin and Madame Mim, and then a small little potions and enchantment area over here in the corner. This was also one of the first rooms I ever decorated in any of the premium shops, or any of the premium shop houses, so I kind of cluttered a bunch of things in here. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the rest of the house, so I pretty much fit everything I could think of into this one main room, but I do think it works in an odd way. Again, the floating lights or the floating candles, I think, were a nice touch here that added a bit of magic. This time we're going to go around in this direction. So this room is our library, and this is 2 walls full of books, which is honestly my dream. We've got a mannequin of the Forgotten here, browsing the titles. Again, we have a desk here. I imagine this as a room where the Forgotten could do some research, read up on some things, and also work on her poetry. I recreated the poetry reading station or setup here with a nice big chair for the Forgotten, some books, a stool where she can set her poems, and a bit of seating so people can sit and listen to what she has to say. And then we have a seating area here in front of the fireplace for just lounging and reading. This beautiful memory in the memory frame. I can't remember why I used this bear chair. I mean, it's definitely cute, but that is the library. The next room we have is the Forgotten's bedroom. And this is, again, thorny vibes, very purple and black and brown. That's the vibe for this entire house. We have this gorgeous bed, a mirror and a wardrobe area, some books, a harp. I just thought it looked nice there. Some potions and some more books for her to sit and read. And she also has a fireplace in her room and a couch here where she can lounge. The back of it is the throne, Maleficent's throne. And I used this memory here because I thought it would remind her of places in the valley that she really enjoys. I made this room for a quest, and I spent a lot more time on it than I usually do on quests because I knew I wanted to leave it here, leave it as a permanent addition in the valley, and I'm really happy with the way it came out. I think it's a place that the Forgotten would really enjoy. And then our final room in this house is what I call the council room. So I think in my headcanon, as a show of good faith, the people of the village would allow the Forgotten to hold council meetings in her home, a blend of the villains and the heroes getting together, talking about what's happening in the valley and what they want to happen. So this room is split halfway between the villainous vibes and the celestial vibes. So we have the celestial wallpaper over here with lots of whites and golds, beautiful plush blue couches, the celestial pillars, this desk for them to sit and write their decrees, I suppose, or the things that they want to bring up in conversation, a center table area for the 2 sides to meet, which I think these purple chairs actually work pretty well with either side. Looking at them with the blue and gold, it does still fit in pretty well. And then looking at them with this purple villainous side, it really fits in as well. So on this side, we have the thorny windows, the purple chairs, the thorny, well, it reminds me of a thorny bookshelf. It's from the Arendelle Frozen collection, but it still fits this sort of thorny vibe. A table with the Jack in the Box from Nightmare Before Christmas, tonics and potions, an image of the land in the midst of the forgetting, and just some more purple aesthetic things. And that wraps up our tour of every premium shop house currently available in Disney Dreamlight Valley. If you made it this far, thank you so much, and please comment down below which house you liked the best and which of your houses you enjoy decorating the most. As always, thank you so much to all of our channel members. Your additional support of me and the channel means so much, and I appreciate you more than you know. And to our Gilded Lily tier channel members, Kitty and Prib, thank you so much for being such important members of the community, helping out with the channel and everything that you do above and beyond. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and I will see you all soon.